So these brief chats, they often start with Bible study discussion group we do weekly after our soup kitchen. Um, and this was, I planned on actually sharing this in some form um, with the folks there. But oftentimes, what happens is as we're eating, as we're discussing, something else comes about. So I never get a chance to share this with them. And when I do, a lot of times there's just the popcorn effect. Some great thoughts and ideas come out of that. Anyway, thinking about Philippians chapter 4. The whole chapter is a long goodbye, and it's Paul's long kind of benediction, final words. He says in verses 8 and 9 of chapter 4, he says, finally, beloved, whatever is true, whatever is honourable, whatever is just, whatever is pure, whatever is pleasing, whatever is commendable, if there is any excellence, and if there is anything worthy of praise, think about these things. Keep on doing what you have learned and received and heard in me, and the God of peace will be with you. Now, the truth is, we all meditate. I was sharing actually with the folks at the soup kitchen that one of my daughters is 6, and she was in the back of the car the other day, and I heard her say, "I didn't know my brain was still going." And it's like that, right? Our minds are always going. And when given free rein, they tend to go a lot of places, and not always places they need to go. There's a beautiful picture, and I won't go too into it, but that picture of from Psalm 23, where you have the sheep lying in green pastures, lying down. And if you've been around sheep and cattle, you know that when they're lying down, they're relaxing, but they're also chewing the cud. And that chewing brings pre-digested food up. They chew it, they break it down more so they can get the nutrients out of it. So chewing the cud is actually a biblical picture of meditating on the Word. And the Word of God, the promises of God, are in fact nutrients for the soul. Our minds have the capacity to travel deeply into a number of different places, and we have the ability to decide whether we go to places that give us nutrients, that are life-giving, or those that are not. Through the act of meditation, we can work the hopes and promises of God into our minds and get the impact of that redeemed spirit that, if we're saved, we already have, flowing into us and through us, through that act, through that feeding. It's unlikely we'll attain stability or maturity without it. The familiar passage, Isaiah 40, verse 3, the Amplified Bible says it this way, and I like it because it looks at that, it kind of expands on that word wait. Because wait is not just lazing around, right? It's an active pursuing. Anyway, it says, but those who wait for the Lord, who expect, look for, and hope in Him, will gain new strength and renew their power. They will lift up their wings and rise up close to God, like eagles rising toward the sun. They will run and not become weary. They will walk and not grow tired. Thomas Keating is a Christian mystic, and he makes the statement that a lot of Christians at the time of the Reformation got distracted by a lot of things, by argument and politics, and we moved a lot of our thinking up here. And so part of this act of meditation, part of spiritual growth, is actually moving from the limitations of this gray matter into the realm of spirit, into the reality and realization that we are children of God, that the Spirit, our spirit, reunited with Him, and in union with Him, actually will speak with power and volition over and to the will and emotions. That's His plan with us as children of God. That's our inheritance. That's the power we have. The result of this is a life that will increasingly shine and a joy that overflows. It will be work to deliberately, intentionally grow and be transformed through the Word, but it is a work that promises to yield fruit. And finally, the Word says, in the prophet Isaiah said that God would keep at perfect peace all who trust in Him, whose thoughts are fixed on Him. Am I, working to assure that our thoughts are fixed on the Lord today?